So it's finally time. After years of waiting, we're finally gonna have to stop calling Simon Peter, and just call him Peter. This scene is coming in season 4. We've been talking about this for over a year now, that this is coming and this is happening. It's gonna happen at Caesarea Philippi, at the gates of hell. And this scene is going to be really, really interesting. Obviously, if you want to learn more about Caesarea Philippi, I have a whole video where I talked about the gates of hell and the background of that and everything. This episode of the Chosen's YouTube video gives us a little bit more insight into what they're thinking and how they're going to portray this scene in particular. So let's jump in and talk about this right here.
Jesus established his church at one of the most disgusting places in the world at the time, the gates of hell.
Oh no, this is spooky.
That's so scary.
I'm not ready for this.
Our next set is over that ridge, down the valley, and over the next ridge.
A very big week for exercise.
You get your steps in. They're exhausting days though, man. For 5-6 pages, walking, talking, but they're...
Yeah, it seems like they did a lot of walk and talk scenes this time around. This pillar here, we actually got a behind the scenes picture of, and it says Caesarea Philippi on the base of it, kind of as a monument to show, hey, you're entering into the city, you're entering into this section here. We have actually seen Caesarea Philippi previously in The Chosen, but it was not portrayed as like a pagan place or not even really like a Roman city. It was just the place where Nathaniel was in season 2, episode 1. So we weren't there for very long, just a little bit for Philip to go and pick up Nathaniel and for Jesus to meet Nathaniel. Other than that, we haven't really seen the city, and we were never at the gates of hell, obviously. But now we're kind of getting into the really deep, dark parts of things.
There's so many exciting scenes that we've been filming.
Just get a rock in your shoe.
I think I've gone 4 days now with like at least 12,000 steps, so that's great.
This is intense.
This is a messenger who I'm not sure who this is, but I am interested to see kind of what goes on with this guy.
Because we're going 5 days a week.
What do we do to deserve this?
It's a great day.
I think the best part is we're all with each other. There's these big group scenes.
You get to talk with your friends in the background.
We have to do it again because you need to stop talking.
This guy in the camo hat here is the photographer for the show as well. So any like the main pictures that you see posted from The Chosen or these different stuff from set, it's almost always him taking great pictures on set. We got to talk with him a little bit during the Feeding the 5,000. He's a great guy.
That may not be the most fun part for the crew, as they have to deal with our tomfoolery and our nonsense.
Back in ancient times, there was no PlayStation, there was no Nintendo, there was only rocks. And you know what? We did pretty well with it.
Go, go!
Yeah, that's how you know that he's a non-venomous.
While there are many dangers along the road in a walking and talking scene,
Yeah, there's got to be lots of wildlife out there for sure.
the biggest challenge production faces is the weather. They were just trying to film this one scene.
So this is the guy we saw previously. Now we're seeing him here, but when we saw him before, he didn't have that backpack on his back. So I wonder if he leaves this with them and then he leaves. Like this is something that he's delivering to them. I do wonder that.
Words of Jesus in Nazarene.
Who's asking?
And a thunderstorm came and interrupted it. Then they go to finish filming that scene, and a whole new storm comes up. There was a little wind and some sand.
Yeah, we covered this early on in our BTS a few weeks ago. It was like a month ago or so. There was a crazy storm out there that just was like a huge dust storm and destroyed a lot of things and obviously shut down production for that time.
Right now, wind is insane.
Sorry, we got you.
Yeah, you see that giant power pole down there.
What do we do to deserve this?
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, I'd love for you to subscribe. Our goal right now is to pass Rabbi Jason Sobel in subscribers, so we need your help to do that. Thank you so much. So Jelane's kicking this. Why is she kicking it and punching it? Well, this is a destroyed statue of some other god that they would have worshipped during this time. It's obviously a broken sort of shrine to something.
Don't kick that. If you kick that, I'll be so mad at you.
No, I'm just acting.
All this walking and talking
So there's the bottom of that pillar like I was talking about previously. So you can see Caesarea Philippi this way and then CD's the other way.
has led us to one particular place.
There's a good aerial of Caesarea Philippi there. And again, we've gone over this in another video if you want to check that out for sure.
Set is up on the side of the cliffs up there. One way up and one way down.
Oh no, this is spooky. That's unreal.
I do wonder who the shaman is, if he's like part of the Temple of Dancing Goats or if that was even around during that time. I don't know. There's a lot of different things that kind of changed from era to era in Caesarea Philippi, but really interesting.
How long did it take you guys to carve the side of this mountain?
Yeah, just a couple days. We have a giant rock wall that's real that we have to blend into our faux wall that we built to match. And that's why I have tracking marks at the very top, because I'll be able to lock that all together.
What are they going to green screen, I wonder?
With these buildings.
So they're going to green screen the rest of the buildings, but they're also going to green screen a giant cave that was at the back of the main building to the left there. Yeah.
That we have here, we're going to see them from a certain point of view. We didn't construct the entire building. We just need a portion of it so we have something to start from. So we paint half of it green, and then we'll add the other side of it, depending on what vantage point we have.
Yeah, these guys are so smart. Like, you have to plan so perfectly ahead of time that it makes it so difficult to decide how you're going to do these things. It always blows my mind.
Moments like today actually make me emotional. I get a chance to portray to the world and reenact one of the most consequential moments in the history of the world, when Jesus established his church and established what his church was built on, the truth of what Simon, who called Peter, said, and the group of people who he chose. The second reason is where and how he actually did it. Just like how when he was born in a stable instead of a palace. He also established his church not in a synagogue or temple, but at one of the most disgusting and sinful places in the world at the time.
So there's a goat here. I believe that's supposed to be a goat that's killed. During that time, I'm not sure when it would have existed, but there's a temple of dancing goats that was at Caesarea Philippi where they would kind of like worship goats and do different things. Obviously, he's going to talk about in a second Pan's grotto that was here. Pan obviously being half human, half goat. How do you get a half human, half goat? Well, there's some nasty things that have to happen in order to do that, right? And in mythology anyway. And so there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens here. A lot of people believe that Jesus actually would not have stepped foot in Caesarea Philippi because he was a Jew. His followers wouldn't have done it. They were Jews, obviously. There's many things that Jesus did not do because he was a Jew, including keeping kosher law and all of that sort of stuff. So many people believe that he would not have been here. But some people, obviously The Chosen is portraying him going right up and almost standing on Pan's grotto there, which is, in my mind, crazy, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
The gates of hell.
So this is Zeus's temple.
Wow.
So they would come and worship Zeus there. The middle is called Pan's grotto, and in it you'll see these little niches in the wall, and each niche had a god.
And these are really accurate to real life. I mean, I showed you guys a picture in that previous video. You can check out that. These are really, really, really accurate to real life. They did a great job on these.
God in it. They would do sacrifice.
Although they may have PG'd them a little bit, like having the statues of the heads in there. Most likely, Pan's grotto would have had different statues of Pan and different phallic figures there. It would have been not as kosher to show on TV for sure.
And in it you'll see these little niches in the wall, and each niche had a god in it. They would do sacrifices. They would do human sacrifice, mostly children, and then they would do goat sacrifices. The very last temple, the temple to Caesar, you would walk into.
So the floor of this building still exists today. And again, check out that video. It's really interesting. The floor of this building, parts of it still exist. There's a beautiful mosaic that's on the bottom. But like he's about to say, the back of this temple would have been open to a large cave which held water, and they would do human sacrifice there.
to that temple, and the back wall was gone, and there was the bottomless pit that they called hell. And so they would throw these sacrifices into this pit. It was a horrible place to be, and so Jews never came here.
I think it really brought into light what Jesus was trying to accomplish by not making it an overly holy place. It's everywhere, and it's accessible now.
I'm here to preach the good news of the kingdom of heaven. A kingdom that is not of this world. I make a way for people to access that kingdom.
We sometimes overlook this part of Scripture in the context of it. It says everything about Jesus.
That's why he says the gates of hell shall not prevail, because he's literally pointing to what they called the gates of hell, saying,
yeah, we talked about this in the previous video as well.
I'm done with this. I'm here. This kingdom will not reign anymore.
Lots of walk and talks right up to the gates of hell, and next week promises even bigger things.
As of this moment, we don't know if we're filming tomorrow.
So this is the week that we were in Utah with them. Obviously, we'll talk about that next week as that comes out, and maybe give a little bit more insight from my side of things as much as I can. But yeah, the gates of hell, going to be really, really interesting. Check out our previous video if you haven't seen that. You're going to love the details that are in there. But the main thing that we're going to see here is, one, the changing of Simon's name to Peter, which is going to be massive for the series. It's going to change a lot of things. Obviously, I wonder how Eden's reaction to this is going to be. I wonder how the rest of the disciples' reactions to this are going to be, what that actually looks like for him in that, and how much more of a leadership role he takes as he walks into that. Also, obviously, the establishment of the church, right? Now, I'm going to disagree with some people that say that, like, this is where Peter becomes, like, the Pope and stuff. Obviously, as a Protestant, I wouldn't believe that, right? I know some of you are going to say that because I've seen a bunch of comments about that. However, I think that this really is the tearing down of the earthly kingdom, the pagan kingdom, and building the church on top of that, crushing it, and the gates of hell will not overcome what Jesus is about to build through the church and everything else there. So really, really interesting section. I cannot wait to deep dive into that when that episode comes out. So make sure to check back with us then. If you like this small portion of our live stream, you can check out the whole entire live stream over on our Patreon at patreon.com/thesnipelife. This is by far the best way to help support us and to keep us doing amazing things in the future of these videos. There's a lot of stuff we have planned, so I want you to be a part of it. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.